All right, we're back on this with the success of saving the compressor from that bad front shaft seal. And I'm trying to catch something on here about a thermal fluid clutch. So the fan clutch on here is a thermal clutch where it uses the fluid driven with the little bimetallic wire, the flat wire that's bimetallic that cuts open or closes the fluid flow to engage the fan. So at this portion here that you're seeing, I was hearing and feeling the fan have quite a bit of throw on it because it reached the temperature where it started to lock up. But then I heard a tone change and I wanted to catch it on the video, so I whipped out my camera, and here's the change where the clutch on the fluid clutch is barely flowing any air. It's flowing air, but not a lot, because it's slipping right now because enough cool air, and it's 58 degrees ambient temperature, cooled off the center of the bimetallic wire on the front that has opened up and allowed the fluid to flow to slip. And so now the clutch is not flowing a lot of air. And I'm catching this a visual right now. You can actually read it. We're over 200 psi, 290. So this is allowing the temperature to go up on, let's look at line temp. There's the temperature of the line. So I have the temperature of the line clamped on the liquid line, and this is the temperature of the liquid line that was going up and down as the clutch was going on and off. But now that the fan is slipping, the temperature of the liquid inside the condenser is getting really hot, and it's 58 degrees outside. So now this hot condenser is heating up the air. Now this hot air with the hot air of the radiator is going over the bimetallic clutch that is spinning in the front, and it's heating up that little wire, and the wire will move and it will close the orifice and it'll lock up the clutch flow, and eventually you will hear this fan kick in and it'll start spinning faster when that bimetallic gets hot, and then you'll see this temperature come down and it'll start to recover and it'll start cycling the clutch again. But right now it's taking off until it does that. So let's get back to the temperature and let's look at the temperature. You can see that here. We were cycling on and off 47 degrees and I think about 40 degrees. It was going down to 40. It wasn't, 40 degrees, 47. So it was going 47, 40, 47, 40, 47, 40. And then the fan stopped moving air, so much air, and here it comes. It's coming now. Now let me switch over to and show you on, boom, there it goes right there. You see that right there? At about 143 degrees line temp for that duration of period, and it just cycled off. You can see where the fan came in, and look at how it's diving down. So that's the fan engaging because of the fluid flow, just like in an automatic transmission. And look at the low side pressure, or temperature. Let's get back to pressure. No, we were in pressure. Let's get back to temperature. So you can see the temperature, it went down to 38 degrees. And let's see what mode I have it in. Did I put it in fresh air mode? Yes, I have it in fresh air mode, not recycle mode. So I have the hot temperature because the temperature of the air coming through the condenser, getting heated up, then getting heated up through the radiator over the hot engine is being pulled in at the corral. So this warm air up here, that's a mixture of the cold at 58 degrees, and the mixture of this air right here that's like 120, 130 degrees is mixing, and then an average air temperature is going down and getting sucked in over the corral, and that's keeping the cycle time up, as you see right here. Now, too many times, here's a problem I see with technicians with experience or no experience. Customer says, I have a problem, and they come in to a shop not understanding the airflow characteristics and the on and off of the clutch. All they do is they feel air and say, oh, I feel air, it's working fine. And they might be in a high airflow mode, and the customer may come in on a cooler day and they see the clutch cycling off on, off on, off and on really fast, and they go, oh, it's low on refrigerant. Well, we're seeing that I'm cycling really fast right now, but I just filled this system up. It is 100% full, but I have a fast clutch cycle because of the ambient air. And at this very moment, the fan is cycling really fast. And because they just come in, pop the hood open, hook up their gauges, and it's cycling fast. Well, in another case, in another scenario, it might pull up and the fan might not be cycling. It did not get hot enough. And so they'll see that other result back there where the temperature goes all the way up to, say, 200 degrees, and it almost gets 200 psi or whatever, because the fan is not cycling, and they'll go, oh, it's overcharged, or there's something wrong because it's a cold day and the pressure actually went really high. The pressure went up to 247 psi, and they say, well, 247 psi is too hot for a cool day like this. It must be overcharged, or there must be a clog or a restriction. They'll start just bullshit. The shit just comes flying out of the mouth of what they think is wrong when they don't understand the characteristics of liquid-filled fluid, thermal fan clutches. And these are not common anymore, so it's becoming an uncommon thing. So younger guys and the technicians don't, even older guys, and I gotta say, even back in my dad's day, in my young days, guys never really understood the airflow characteristics, and airflow is king when it comes to how the AC is going to operate. I think I said enough, and I probably confused a whole lot of you guys, and hopefully by the visual, let's go back to line temp. There's the line temperature. There's the high side line temperature, 106 degrees, 77 degrees, 103 degrees, 73 degrees, 101 degrees. You see, you get in the picture, right? And that's as the fan was cycling. If you look back there, you see it go way, when it went way up was when the fan stopped flowing air. Can you hear that? You can tell that the fan is really flowing air right now. Let's get to our, let's look at saturated. Let's take our subcool superheat. Let's get back to some numbers. With the fan flowing right now, look at our superheat, look at our subcooling. Now keep note of that superheat and the subcooling right now when the fan is blowing. If I hear the fan start to disengage and slow down, we'll come back and look at that again. And I wish I could move this vehicle right now into the spray booth and turn on the heater and take it up to like 105 degrees and perform this exact same test, so I could show you what the difference of ambient temperature load. Alright guys, I am going to get out of here. This is superheat subcooling. This is what you see. Here's our line temperatures. I'll take you over to pressure. Here's our pressure. That's what it's doing. Let's get back over to our temperatures out of our dash. This is the outside ambient temperature. And you can see as this air flows differently, some of it wraps around here and adds a few degrees to the air up here. And this is why you see the air temperature jumping back and forth. It all depends on the flow of the air, what's wrapping around in front of the car. Oh, let's do another experiment. Let me take it off of pulling in this warm air, and let's put it on recycle, and let's watch what happens on recycle. Okay, there. We just go to max fan. So now we're gonna go and recycle. We're gonna take the cold air inside here, and it's gonna go over the evaporator, so that's gonna lower the load over the evaporator. So we're no longer taking in the air from here. And I could hear the change in the sound. Oh, and our fan stopped at the same time. So our fan is barely flowing air again. So our fan is starting to slip because it's a fluid-driven fan. So that's gonna drive our high side temperature up. So that's gonna keep, even though I just lowered the load on the evaporator, that would make rapid cycle times. But at the same time, the fan is barely flowing air. So that's gonna raise the head pressure, and that's gonna, because this is an Orfice tube system, that's gonna raise the low side pressure. So that's gonna help extend the cycle times. So we have two opposite things here. We have lowering the load over the evaporator is supposed to increase cycle time, on, off, on, off, on, off, because of the cycle pressure switch. But at the same time, the fan is barely moving air, which if we go back to, where's our, there we go. Our high side pressure is going up to 186. And that is increasing the temperature over here, but that will also increase, okay, 40, 40, what, 40, 40, 41, 41, 40, 40. So that's increasing, helping increase our dwell time. And let's see what our, where are we coming out the dash? Let's see what our temperature is. Our minimum temperature. You can see the clutch cycling right there. At the same time, you see, okay, 39 degrees, oops, 39 degrees is the lowest temperature. Let's go back to superheat, subcooling with a fan barely moving right now. Our fan has very, you see, look how low our subcooling is right now. Fan, that, wait for that to start again. But because the fan is not moving right now, look at our superheat, look at our subcooling. There's no clutch right now. There, a clutch comes in. We have very little airflow. I think I'm starting to feel it to come on a little bit more right now. Look at that. 172 psi. Get back up there. Come on up. It won't go up there, but it's about 179 psi on that clutch cycle. Okay, you see that flat top? That flat top tells me the fan is going to start. Is it? Oh no, it didn't. Thought it was. My mistake. When's that fan going to count? Okay, it's going to wait until it gets way up there in the 200s. It's not hot enough. Listen to the microphone. We're waiting for the fan to kick up. There it goes. You hear the fan? Look at that dive. That is the fluid in the fan kicking on that fan so it goes one-to-one with the engine. Now you're going to notice it should not go as high as it did before because the fan is moving air. This has nothing to do with electronics. This is good old-fashioned analog. It's a bimetallic spring controlling fluid flow. So I hope somebody has been able to grasp something that they never understood before, and by having a visual of what's happening, understand how fluid flow thermal fan clutches work. And this can mess up your diagnosis when you're trying to diagnose something on these and you have a bad one that's out of not even bad, it just has to be a little bit out of calibration. It'll throw all your pressures and temperatures off because it's not, you know, it has 50,000 miles on it. It's not bad. You don't see nothing happen with the engine temperature, but condensers are very crucial about the amount of air that flows over them, and airflow is king when it comes to diagnosis of your AC system. All right, guys, that's enough for now. I got to go do some work. See you guys. Bye.